On this week's episode of the Into Geek podcast, things got a little long, so we decided to take episode 13 and chop it up into two parts. This first part is going to be all about the movie challenge presented to us by the rotating chair, as Allison, Chase, and myself are given 3 new movies we have to watch and review. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Halloween Part 3 episode. I feel like it's not appropriate for you to sound like that. You should sound more more like puzzling.
Yes. How do you sound puzzling?
Hello. I don't know, actually.
Hello.
What is this question? I don't know. I just started talking. I haven't introduced anything. Folks, tonight, Chase is the Riddler.
Riddle me this.
Riddle me this. And I am a plague doctor or a dark wizard. I don't know. I had a hat, but I can't put my thing on.
I still think you look like the guy from one of the characters in Eyes Wide Shut. Like, the password, please.
I mean, I could wear this to like a weird gangbang probably.
Yeah,
it seems fine or whatever. On tonight's episode, not just gangbangs, we're talking about the final Lovecraft Country. Episode 10 just came out. We're gonna have a discussion about the season, the series as a whole, what we thought, and also how it all wrapped up. And also what we're going to talk about tonight is we were challenged by the rotating chair on YouTube to 3 movies, 1 movie for each of us, for Chase, myself, and Allison. We went and watched those movies, and we are going to give you our reviews on if you should watch them or not, and what we thought. It's a whole lot to get into here and everything or whatever. So
buckle down.
Yeah. So I will also introduce Allison to the show.
You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Hello, Allison. How are we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Sounds just like my wife. Chase, you're taking the trash out wrong.
If I do it in a British accent, will it work better?
Yeah, I think it will.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that Chase would do if you do it in a British accent.
Nope. Taken.
So let's do our movie reviews. Who would like to go first?
I say ladies first.
No, let's save mine for last. It's so clearly the best.
I mean, I'll go first if you want.
Let's do Chase first.
Okay, my movie was challenged by Crow. Was Evidence, 2012 movie, directed by Howie Askins. It is a found footage film. I'll tell you a brief thing about the plot. Pretty much 4 people, a guy named Ryan, Brett, girl Abby, and Ashley. They get an RV. Brett has never been camping. You kind of get, I guess he's a city guy and stuff. So Ryan's making a documentary, taking them out to the woods, first time camping, going to record everything. While they're out there, they do the, of course, drinking and stuff, and they hear strange sounds coming from the woods. The next day they wake up, they kind of go, look around the woods and stuff, and they see something kind of off in the distance, and it moves, and they're kind of freaked out. The girls kind of want to leave, but Ryan, the documentarian, I don't know if that's the right word, but he wants to keep them there, finish his documentary. Then that night, something kind of attacks them a little bit, moves their tent stuff. They see stuff in the woods, freaks them out. They run back to the RV. They want to go home. Ryan is talking to them. He's like, hey, I left my tent out there. And, I mean, this is a problem I have with the movie. They should just get in their car and just leave. And Ron's like, I left my tent out there. And Brett's like, hey, I'll buy you a new fucking tent, man. Let's get the fuck out of here. There's a fucking bear or something out there. They're not sure what it is. They know it's kind of hairy and stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so they spend the night in, they said, hey, we'll just spend the night in the RV and we'll go get our stuff in the morning and we'll leave. And you think, that's when, that's the setup of, okay, this night's going to be bad. But no, they just wake up in the morning and Brett's actually not there. So Ron's like, well, maybe he went ahead to go get the stuff. And they go and he's not there. They can't find him. They come back to the RV and all the, the engine's messed up. Something's opened up hood of the car, messed with the engine. There's leaves and stuff all in the tent, like maybe like an animal of some sort went in there. And then he goes out looking for him, and this is where I thought was kind of interesting with the movie is Ryan and Brett are set up to be the main characters, and they both pretty much are dead, with like in the beginning, kind of. And Abby and Ashley, who
Plot twist.
yeah, like or the secondary characters end up. Abby ends up, or I don't know. There's Abby and Ashley. I can't tell. There's a blonde and a brunette, pretty much. Just go with that.
That kind of happens in my film as well.
Yeah. So the blonde and brunette, and the blonde holds the camera for a while. They find Ron's dead body. They're getting chased, and like the movie, just if you can handle found footage, you might like it. I know a lot of people can't get some dizzy. This would get a lot of people dizzy. It's straight like these girls running for the last 30 to 45 minutes of this movie. It feels like they are just constantly running. The camera's shaking constantly. A problem I have is I'm not a big found footage fan. I have a problem with found footage stuff because you got to have the camera. Why is she still shooting? She doesn't give a shit about the fucking thing. The documentary and stuff like that, but she's still holding the camera. Now they try to explain it with saying the camera is their best sort of light, so they're using the light of the camera. But why are you still holding it in a way then where you can see everything? It's almost like you're looking through it still while you're running.
Maybe the camera had night vision or something on it also.
I mean, maybe it did, but I don't know. They don't. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's hard. Some found footage movies have done it. Paranormal Activity does it, where there's some video, but you're mostly looking through the security cameras. There's a movie called My Little Eye where everything's done in a Big Brother kind of way, so it explains why the cameras are going and stuff. This movie, I was like, why is she still fucking even holding the camera? But they end up just keep running. They find a shed and stuff, and then the thing is some hairy kind of gorilla-ish beast looking thing kind of. It's after them, and it keeps running after them and stuff, and they just run into a barn and stuff, and then they get into the middle of this field, and the lights turn on, and it's this huge. It's almost the size of a football field and stuff, and it's got all these lights on it and stuff, and you hear this PA saying "Don't move," and the creature's running, and then the creature gets shot, and the girls start running. As soon as the gun goes off, the girls start running again, and they go into this place, and it's this army kind of factory now. And this guy's kind of they run into this guy, and the guy's follow me, whatever. And they go and they find this pregnant alien or some kind of experiments are going on, and everything's moving so quickly. And you see all these crazy people, almost someone wearing a mask, kind of like you're wearing now. Ooh. But you see this guy in crazy gas mask he's wearing, and it's all these crazy people, and it's this army experiment that's gone wrong, and there's all these dead army soldiers and stuff, and they just keep running, and you can tell it's called evidence, I guess, because the camera is the evidence that things went wrong here, and the soldier was trying to get the girl with the camera off to this helicopter, and then that's in the movie. It was, I don't know, it wasn't really scary. I mean, it has some tense. If you like found footage movies, you might really enjoy this. I'm just not a big fan of them. It had a lot of very Blair Witch kind of vibe to it, it was copying a lot of it, but I don't know, it was, I would give it about a 4 if you just don't.
4 out of 5, damn.
Oh, no, 4 I do out of 10. Sorry, 4 out of 10, but I'm going to raise it up 1 point because there is some nudity, and I always will give a point for nudity. It does
shoot
show
a
some
point
nipple.
for you boob.
You only get to see half
10.
boob, but you do get to see nipples. So I'm giving it about 5. If you do found footage, I'd give it maybe a 6 or a 7 or something like that. If you like those kind of movies,
You're so classy.
but no, I mean the movie's all right and stuff like that. It's got a little suspense. You're kind of wondering what's going on. The little whole it's a camping trip, and then now they're in an army kind of base kind of thing. It's a nice kind of twist of what's going on. But you never figure out what the experiments exactly are. One of them's a gorilla. It's he's got hair just all over his body. Another guy's got a gas mask on and stuff like that. If it was just a Bigfoot thing, that I think would have been cooler. But I don't know. It's just one for me, but it wasn't the worst movie in the world.
But I think the important thing to mention here is the budget of this movie.
That actually is the very most impressive thing. The special effects and like what this guy did, he made this movie with $12,000, and like we hadn't talked about Allison's movie. Allison's movie was about triple my budget, and it looks like it was made for a lot less though. Like,
I think the more important question is: are you dying? Are you okay?
yeah, sounds fun.
You have like a weird wheeze in your voice, man.
Let me take a sip of water. I'm a smoker. What can I say?
When you started to talk about them running like in the field or whatever,
Yeah.
I was thinking it reminded me a little bit of an old episode of Goosebumps. There was this.
They had found footage Goosebumps back then.
So
Were they the original found footage people?
It was one of the only like ones that had like two parts.
Yeah.
And it's about this camp, and these kids end up getting like one by one injured, or they get sent home, and like our main character is afraid because he thinks that there's just like wolf in the woods or whatever and stuff, and so he's trying to like learn what's going on and everything, and so as all the kids begin to like die and stuff, he eventually finds out that it's all a big ruse and everybody is in on it, and the camp is this like government training facility that all of these kids are learning how to like it's like training experience, right?
Yeah.
And you find out that like they're all aliens and they're like training to go to like Earth or whatever and stuff, and so like they're like trying to like.
That actually sounds a little bit cooler.
Yeah, so as you started to like talk about like them in the field, I thought maybe that then like all their friends would like pop out and stuff, and it's all fake or whatever, and it's all like
No, it wasn't fake or anything. I mean, there was some good elements to the movie and stuff like that. It's just I'm not really like it's hard for me to watch horror movies, not because I'm scared or anything. It's just for some reason with horror movies, like I do it more than with any other kind of movie. Like I actually really kind of picture myself. So like the girls running the barn and stuff like that, like lock all the doors and like shut everything and like get yourself in a room and you could probably be safe. But like they run back outside and like it's like the stereotype when people are like yelling at the movie screen and it's like, girl, don't open the door. And so like I'm like that in my head and I try to picture what I'm like.
One more time, Chase.
No, I can't do that again.
Come on, Rudy, don't
Rudy, don't open the door.
Got the pudding.
So like in horror movies, I guess I do it more than I would any other movie, and I just picture like they just make bad decisions in horror movie because they're trying to get the plot to go and stuff like that. That's why I have trouble watching horror movies, and like this movie had like little things like that. But I mean, all horror movies have those like, girl, do this, do that, like.
Side note, as like Chase is talking about like choices in horror movies, folks, Chase and Allison have both never seen Cabin in the Woods. So what I propose is we watch that next week, and you guys can talk about your first experience with that. I fucking love that movie, so I would love to be there. Like, and
I'll definitely check it out. I'll definitely check it out.
No. This is not a maybe.
I said, what part of maybe is definitely?
This is happening.
I definitely check that out. No, there's no maybe. I said definitely.
No pants on either.
I was thinking maybe.
Oh, the nose almost got in the way.
Maybe.
Well, I don't like your really discerning tone. Mm-hmm. So you're saying 4 out of 10?
And I'd say about a 5.
Okay.
5 out of 10.
Okay.
A 6 if you are a big fan of those kind of found footage movies.
Allison, did you want to go next, or do you want to go next?
No, you go.
It's very hard to drink in this mask. I don't know how people
It is hilarious.
drink in these things, because I had to like hold my head back the whole way. It's awful.
You look like Steve Martin and Roxanne when he's trying to drink. And
Hey,
you need a straw is what you need.
that would fit my entire personality. All right, guys, my movie from it's called Razorback,
Oh,
down in the Australia. It's a 1984 film.
Down in the Australia.
It's down near the Outback. The Outback with the onion blooming. Bloomin' onion. My film, it's called Razorback. It's from 1984. I forgot to write down the guy who directed it. I forgot my phone.
Russell
Perfect.
Mulcahy?
Mal Dundee.
Russell Mulcahy.
There you go.
This film, I think if you're a fan of horror films, you will like. I would not recommend this to your casual person, that just just in general likes movies or whatever. It has a lot of 80s tropes in it and stuff. There's a lot of like random lighting and stuff where they're walking out like in the dark and there's just like spotlights in the background and stuff to try have shots framed. I think half the budget on this film was spent on fog machines because there's just fog everywhere. I don't care where they are. They're inside buildings. There's fog. They're outside. There's fog. They're in cars. There's fog. There's fog fucking everywhere. This film is about this. So it starts. Oh my god. So the opening. Hold on. Let me put this drink down real quick. I can't fucking. Okay. All right, there we go. So the film starts with this older guy. He's probably like in his like early 50s. He's putting his grandson to bed, and out of nowhere, he begins to hear these like snorts and growls outside, and he sees this giant boar that we don't see because they didn't have the budget to actually show us. So there's a lot of like POV shots, which in the 80s that was a lot of the normal practice was that like, it was expensive to like show the monster, so they would just show the camera running like at people and stuff, whatever, right? So it's almost like Tremors a little bit. And so he gets attacked by the boar. The boar runs through the house, takes the baby, right? And then it has a scene of him walking outside and the house is on fire, and he's like on his knees, like yelling no. And it's so absurd, and it's great. It's fucking hysterical. Because it reminds me, like, if you watched, like, Scary Movie, and the characters in the movie were watching, like, a fake movie on television, it would be this scene. It's so overly acted. It's so hammy. It's amazing. But what follows is a really clever scene, actually, where he gets put on trial for, because everybody assumes that he actually, like, took the kid like and killed him or something or whatever. So what happens is you get a lot of exposition thrown at you, but it's done in this courtroom scene. So you get all the information needed and it feels natural. So like his lawyer's talking about with the boar, it got shot, but because it's so big, it's upper layer. It's got like fatty tissue and stuff. They talk about like other hunters. They talk about like characters' names and stuff or whatever. They tell you that there's like not enough evidence to like convict him and stuff. So it gives you everything you need to know about what's going on in this town. And it doesn't feel like this weird, like, out of place moment, right? So then we go from there to like 2 years later to New York. I mean, meet like this this like female character who is this like animal rights reporter of sorts. She has the worst American accent that I've ever heard. It's just this very like, hey, how's it going there? I'm from America. It's just like, so she's putting all of her acting into this, God damn it, dude. I can't talk with this fucking nose. Okay, and so she takes a job because there's these kangaroo hunters are that they're hunting kangaroos like out of season. And so she's going there because like they're like almost extinct. So she goes to like this small town, and she's kind of tough. Like the locals like try and like fuck with her and stuff. And during the trial, we met a couple of these hunters, and these guys are fucking dicks. Like he looks like a Mad Max character. He's probably also in Mad Max if I had to guess. His name is like Ditko, I think. He's like throwing darts at her head and stuff as she's like on the phone, but she's so tough. Like she takes the darts and puts them like in his beer, and the whole crowd's like, "Oh, she got you, mate," and everything. So he gets like pissed off about this, and she decides to go out into the outback to try and get like B-roll footage of things. She ends up seeing the boar, and as she is driving back to town, for Ditko and his friend whose name is Benny roll up on this like Mad Max style fucking like hunting vehicle. And they land next to her. They crash her vehicle, and then they're about to rape her because these guys are fucking like terrible people, right? The boar shows up, it scares them off, and then it fucking kills the girl. So I was fully expecting this boar to like murder these guys, the girl to like head back to town or whatever, ask for help, meet dude, and it's very like Jaws moment or something, whatever. No, she just dies immediately. So I fully thought that this was our like main character. It's very like Psycho-esque. It's just like, okay, she's fucking gone, right? We then her fiance husband from New York ends up coming to here. He's also the guy who was in like Logan's Run, I think. He is the most beta male I've ever. He just oozes. I pee sitting down. Like he's just not a man's man at all. And so he's trying to find out what happened to his wife. It leads him to Jake, who was the like, elder guy who like hunts boars. And so his whole thing is that now he's after this boar that like killed his grandson and everything, right? So it leads him there. He then tells, I think his name was Carl. Mm-hmm. He tells Carl, go check out the pet pack place because Jake found the car, which the boar like tore open that killed the chick, right? And so he tracked it and saw its hooves, and he found this like meat hook that was off of their truck, and so he knows in some kind of fashion that they're like involved. So Carl goes there and he joins them in working like at the fucking pet pack place and stuff, whatever. And they're just like completely like inappropriate, terrible fucking people the entire time or whatever. They take him out for a like nightly kangaroo hunt. They leave him in the fucking outback to die. It's because the one guy fucking Dicko shoots a kangaroo, leaves it to die. He didn't and finish it off. So Carl gets out and like chops it up because he feels bad for it, and then they just leave him there. And so then he begins to get hunted by this fucking Razorback or whatever, and he ends up in this like pig pit area. He sleeps on this tower. It ends up falling over. These pigs almost eating, but they can't swim. Apparently, I didn't know that pigs couldn't swim. And then he wanders out in the outback, and you get this fucking fever dream of editing, and it's just like almost like a Tool video or something. It's just you've got like all these like Mirage style like tents and like greens and blues and reds and like these like bone creatures and stuff. It's I think the direction feels very like I would say artistic. I think he was trying for that. Like there's a lot of like really cool shots at times, but then it has a lot of like just commonality, a lot of like just like normal tropes of horror stuff and shots or whatever. But every once in a while he puts like a fucking mushroom dream or something in there. And so dude ends up wandering to this really hot chick's house who's just bathing naked. She's just outside on her lawn fucking naked, fucking like bathing. He passes out and she's like fully into it. She's just like, oh man, this fucking dude's American. He's got to hit it, or whatever. And so they have this moment. She's into him. He's crying about his dead wife or whatever. She knows Jake. Jake comes back and Jake's mad because he saw the boar and he didn't. So Jake goes out after it or whatever. And he has these fucking dogs, man. There's this scene where he sends the dogs out and they actually start attacking fucking pigs. So like I guess they didn't have fake pigs, and so like there's like a real fucking animal fight, fucking like
it's like a cockfight though, with dogs and pigs.
I was super uncomfortable. I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this at all. Fuck, holy shit, or whatever. But ends up he gets attacked. He tranks the boar or whatever, and then he heads back. He then follows it out like in the outback. Benny and Dicko don't like him because he had punked him out earlier or whatever. So as he's asleep, they take him, knock him unconscious. Fucking Dicko breaks both his fucking legs and then pulls him back to where the pigs were. And then the Razorback finds him, fucking kills him. So that's like two main character heroes. I was like, okay, it's her. And I was okay, now it's him or whatever. And he's fucking dead too. I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Like Deborah's just gonna fucking die. You then get this whole thing where eventually that they head back to the like pet pack place or whatever. Carl, the alpha male, is there trying to fight the boar. The blonde haired chick goes after him. She shows up. There's a really great scene where he's trying to get the boar's attention. He's like hey, over here, whatever. And the boar's like It just doesn't go towards him at all. It goes towards the girl because she's the like obvious threat, or whatever, you know, because Carl's a huge pussy or whatever. And so you think that she dies, and then Carl ends up tricking it onto this like, you know, fucking conveyor belt that's very Terminator-esque, like where it drags him into this thing, and then like it chops up the, you know, body and stuff or whatever. But it's a lot like Sarah Connor leading the Terminator and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like really famous looking moments or whatever that look like that they're from like other scenes and shit and whatever. And then eventually it gets chopped up. He finds Sarah's body hanging in the rafters somehow, as if the fucking pig like popped her up in the. I don't. It makes no sense. It's his final like really bad scare. It's not a terrible movie. I don't think. Whatever. I think it got lost in the shuffle. You know, like I like that it feels like a realistic movie from Australia. Like it feels like, you know, it's their culture, lore, and everything, whatever, and that, like, you know, there's a monstrous boar. So it's like, you know, like us having a movie about like, you know, Bigfoot or something or whatever. I like that it feels like a natural horror film from there about an animal.
It also came out in '84, so like I'm sure when it came out and stuff like that, it might have been a big hit there, and like.
Not really.
Oh, no. I tried. No, it was so funny. Like the whole time you were talking about the conveyor belt scene, I just like picture Arnold Schwarzenegger looking at the Predators, like, "Come at me! Come on, get me!
What are you waiting for?" Yeah. So yeah, it's not terrible. I didn't dislike it. It's not like my favorites or anything. So I would definitely suggest it for other horror fans that are looking for like a new monster movie, whatever. It's not really gory. There is one really fucking funny scene. So they it keeps cutting to this like really fat, overweight guy that lives in like a trailer, and he might be like a hunter also. The boar came through in one scene, and it went into his barn that had like food and stuff, right? So he like, he put up this trap. So he put up this like chain link trap to like fall like on the animal, right? So he's hanging in his house watching television. The huge Razorback comes in. It gets trapped, but it's too fucking big. So it begins to just like drag the chain. The chain hooks up to his like porch or something on accident as the Razorback's running by, and it rips half his house off, and so it's just so he's sitting in his living room watching television, and the house gets like fucking removed, and so he just like fucking drinking like a fucking Foster's, and like half his house is just moving off in like the distance. It's a really, really funny frame scene. It's great. So like more of that stuff, I think really would have like it worked or whatever. Oh man, also there's this this bartender who also owns the like local hotel. He's like just like a super nice guy. Carl like first like, you know, shows up or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, like I need a room," and the guy's like, "Yeah, you know, I've got one in the back or whatever." He goes, "Yeah, I'm also looking for Jake," and he says, "Oh yeah, if you just head down like, you know, left," and the guy's like, "Well, is there like a taxi service?" And the guy's like, "Oh no, here, fucking take my car." He just like gave this guy his fucking car. He like just showed up saying, "It's fine, bro. Whatever."
Hey, '84 was a simple time.
I know, right? What happened?
So there's actually some fun facts I've come across
I love fun facts.
while you were talking about this movie. It won some awards.
For best Razorback movie.
So for the Australian Cinematographers Society.
Oh yeah, the old CCC.
It won the Dean Semler won Cinematographer of the Year, 1984 for this movie. And then the Australian Film Institute, they won Best Achievement in Editing and Best Achievement in Cinematography.
I fully like understand that. I mean, like that's what I was saying, is that like there's a lot of like very artistic endeavors in the film. I feel as though like the guy had a really good eye for style. I just don't know if the movie matches that at all. It feels, because like when you're going into it, you're expecting like just your basic monster film, and he's doing more psychological. I don't say like, you know, like Rosemary's Baby or something or whatever, but it feels more like that in terms of like how it's shot. But it feels like you know, it's like $5 words. It just like, you know, it feels like it's really out of place. It's strange.
It was also nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Ooh, it was also a book. So
that's what it was adapted from.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's based on a true story.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Based on a true
yeah.
story.
Somewhere a person got attacked by a Razorback. Sweet! The characters Benny and Ditko are fucking scumbags. Like, I mean, like, there's no redeemable Okay, well, hold on. Ditko has this very weird thing where as he's running, he likes to, like, stop and do a twirl and then start running again. He does it 4 times in the movie. I don't get what it is. It's this OCD thing, but it's fucking hysterical.
Hated the twirl.
Yeah. Besides that, though, they are fucking scumbags. So they try to rape the chick. They then lie to everybody about the Razorback being out there killing her. They then try to murder Jake for no reason. There's no evidence that like shows that they like, you know, had anything to actually do with her death or whatever, but they feel the need to like attack Jake or whatever. When Jake is injured, he sends his dog to go get Sarah. They fucking run over the dog running down the street and shit. And it's like, God damn, all right. It just every they like left Carl to die or whatever. So like they were like fucking terrible like antagonists, and you wanted them to get their fucking comeuppance so hard, and it's so lackluster. The one guy falls down a hole, and you're like, okay, all right.
Okay.
And then Ditko, he gets eaten, but it's such a sporadic shot that it's just like you don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, like I don't want them to like just get fucking just killed. Carl has a chance to kill both of them, and he's like, I can't do it because he's a fucking beta. He's fucking terrible. Awful. Anyways,
Allison,
I think that's it.
Okay, I'm so
what
excited.
was your movie
I'm sweating
again?
so hard in this fucking mask, dude.
I think it's The Rope.
Okay, so my movie was recommended to me by Donovan. It is The Velocipastor. Chase and I watched this the other day, and I could not stop laughing. Like, it's labeled horror, but I literally laughed. Like, it's a short movie. It was, an hour and 11 minutes?
It was like an hour and 10 minutes, something like that, yeah.
And I laughed for an hour and 11 minutes. Like, it was hilarious. So, right from the get-go, it starts off with... like, we're already laughing.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, my gosh. So, he's... our main character is... I can't even... Jeez, we just watched it. I want to start off by reading the synopsis of this, like just the little, not even the little blurb or whatever, because if this doesn't make you want to watch this movie, like, I don't even know where to begin with you. So, after losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. So clearly this is checking like all of the important boxes.
I love that it's crime and ninjas.
And ninjas.
Yeah. So
it
the
says
ninjas
to
are
fight
not
crime, period. New sentence.
All right.
And ninjas.
There's so much more. You just got to wait.
The ninjas are like not also doing crime, but they're just there. It's just like, you know, he's fighting crime and then also ninjas.
They're literally fighting crime and then they fight the ninjas. So it's okay. So it starts off with Pastor Jones. Doug is our main character.
His name is Doug Jones?
His name is Doug Jones.
Based off the actor? Doug Jones?
No.
I don't know. Whatever.
It's a true story.
So and this first scene really just shows you what you're getting into.
It sets the tone of the movie.
It really does. So he's giving his sermon, and church is over, and he goes out. And he sees across the street, he's sitting on the steps of the church, he sees across the street his parents are standing by their car, and he yells across the street, "Mom and Dad!" And he yells with the cheesiest, like, wave that you've ever seen, and they turn around like they're in some, Viagra commercial, and they're super happy, and, are waving back with their cheesy-ass smiles.
I mean, who can't smile while having a boner?
And then... And then it cuts back to Doug. He goes to cross the street to go to his parents, but you hear an explosion. It cuts back to where his parents are. The parents are gone. The car is gone. And it just says, VFX, car on fire. That's
all it says.
So, like, you can hear the explosion, you can hear the flames, and it just is text on the screen.
Nice.
And Doug falls to his knees and he yelled, like, when you said this is the movie that they were watching in Scary Movie, like, no, man. This is the movie they were watching, okay? So he falls to his knees and he, you know, reaches up to the skies and is, no! And the camera pans out and it takes much, much longer to pan out than necessary. And it's just really awkward and hilarious. So, his pastor, you know, I guess it's like his mentor kind of, like discount Sam Elliott. It's like I like to think of him.
Yeah.
He is talking to him, trying to console him in his grieving, and he's like, just drink more wine. And they're drinking out of, like, you know, the communion cup or whatever, and he just keeps throwing back the wine. And he's like, but why would God do this? And his friend tells him, you know, you need to go and test your faith. You need to go where you think God won't follow. And if you find him there, you know he's real. So,
some nice advice. I mean, that was
it was really
stuff.
good. Yeah.
Good stuff.
So he's like, I've got it. I know where I'm going to go. China. So he goes to China. And I guess China looks like my backyard because it's just woods. He's walking through the woods.
Like it is the woods, and it feels like they just like went to their backyard to shoot the scene. And like
it's
in
so
my
good.
movie, like that, you actually feel like they're in like deep woods and they're at like a park. Hers looks like it's the backyard kind of woods. There's a couple of trees, but
To be fair, y'all have never been to China, so they could have easily been in Beijing. You don't know what you're talking about.
They could be. Because, and then this is where we get our first, not even our first great line. One of our great lines of this movie is he's looking at his compass and he's walking through the woods and he's moving the trees and everything, and he stops and he looks and he goes, China is east. So, so as he's looking through the woods, we see this girl running through. She's being chased by a ninja, and
it is China.
Yeah,
China known for ninjas,
right?
Not
So she's
really.
hauling ass through the woods. She gets shot by an arrow through the chest, and she falls down the hill and lands at Pastor Doug's feet. And he looks at her. He sees the arrow. She's covered in blood. And he says, "Are you hurt?"
There's an arrow in her heart.
She says a bunch of stuff in Chinese. He doesn't understand any of it, and she hands him this trinket and says, "Dragon Warrior."
Yeah. Like, I think she says it in Chinese, but it like the subtitles.
No, she says that
she does it.
in perfect English. Like, nothing else was in English, but then the rest of it is Dragon Warrior.
Dragon Warrior.
All right, so the ninja sees him, so he tries to take off. He cuts his hand, and then he gets in this, you know, he goes into this, like, trip or whatever. He passes out, and then he wakes up, and he's back at his church with his mentor friend there, and he's like, oh, did you have the same dream again? And
so you don't really ever know if he went to China?
we assume he went to China,
Yeah.
because it was east, right?
Yeah,
So anyways. So basically he's been having this reoccurring nightmare, and he's hungry, and his
Is he hungry like the wolf?
he must be.
More like a raptor.
That's great. Okay, so he
I don't
You
know.
should make my joke worse.
that was, both jokes were terrible.
I know.
Nothing compares to this movie. Stop talking. So his friend tells him, well, you just stay here and, you know, stay comfortable, and I'll go get you something to eat. Well, it's not enough. He needs to get out. So he leaves, and he bumps into this hooker, just blows past her on the street, and the camera follows her. And this is where we meet Carol for the first time. Her with a heart of gold, man. She's a
lovely woman.
She's just so sweet.
What's your vagina made out of?
Also gold. In her brains too, but we'll get to that later. So, but more importantly, she brings us to my favorite character. Her pimp, Frankie Mermaid.
Which I think Crow said.
Yes.
Yeah, like, no, he like prefaced that, like, Frankie Mermaid's great.
Frankie Mermaid is amazing.
Yeah.
She walks up and he turns around and he says, Carol, hello. And then he backhands her and slams her ass into the fucking wall. And I don't know, they are back and forth for a minute and he says, I'm fucking Frankie Mermaid. Do you know why I'm Frankie Mermaid? She's got a lollipop and it's in her mouth and she goes, he's like, I can't fucking hear you. And she goes, because you're swimming in bitches.
One of the best lines I've ever heard in a movie. It's so good.
So she's telling her, you need to make more money, whatever, where are you going tonight? And she's going to go to the park. So she goes to the park. Guy comes to rob her and she is saved by a dinosaur and she just can't believe it. And this dinosaur comes and kills this robber out of nowhere. We see this amazing attack scene where it's just bits and pieces where you see like teeth, you see claws, because the robber's shooting a gun, so it's all like just light flashes. Which I love. It was great.
Yeah.
And then when the death finally occurs, it pans over to Carol and you see the robber's head roll past her feet. And it is just the cheapest mannequin head that you've ever seen.
It's literally like they just threw
It's literally a mannequin head. And it's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah. So the next day, Doug wakes up in Carol's bed. Carol comes in and she looks at him and she said, last night was amazing. And he looks down and like clearly is naked and he doesn't know what's going on and he's like thinking they had sex. So he's, well, this, my child, this can never happen again. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, this was my first time. Was this your first time? And she's like, yeah. He's like, so, I don't know where, like, this whole conversation goes on, and it's clear he's talking about sex, and I don't know where she would get the confusion that they're talking about him being a fucking dinosaur, but whatever. So she tells him, you turned into a dinosaur and you killed a person last night. And he's like, what? No. She's like, come on, I'll show you the body. And he's like, well, do you have clothes I can wear? So we go back to the woods. He's in the tightest dress. Like, he would have been better off naked. Okay? You can see everything. She shows him the body. He's kind of freaking out. That's when she tells him that she's a hooker. And for some reason, he's more upset about the fact that she's a hooker than the fact that he just killed a person. But it's okay, because she defends it. She's not just a hooker. She's also a pre-med law student.
Perfect. Classic degree.
Pre-law med. I'm sorry, pre-law med.
Most people are
Right.
pre-law med, though.
It's like on Grey's Anatomy, right?
I legit had to
exactly.
rewind it. I was like, did she just say pre-law med? What the fuck is that? All right, what? Okay, so she tries to convince him, like, we can use this for good. We can stop. You saved my life. We can do this for good. We can use this for good and kill all the criminals, kill all the bad people. And he doesn't want to, so he runs back to church. He's got to go to the confessional right now. So he's running in the dress, and he somehow finds, like, his robes or whatever on the way. He runs into the confessional, and he sits down, and there's a person in the confessional waiting for him, and it's Frankie fucking Mermaid, who has come in, and he said, well, it's been, like, 2 fucking years since I've confessed. I've got a lot of shit, like, drugs and rape and murder and, this and, I had 2 people killed. Actually, it was really crazy. I had 2 people killed, a couple weeks ago, right in front of this fucking church, too. And
Plot twist.
twist. Okay, so Frankie Mermaid fucking killed Doug's parents, but he was hired by someone to do so. So Doug's trying to keep calm, but the dinosaurs starting to rear his head, right?
Clever girl.
He finally breaks. Dinosaur Claw comes through the wall, and he kills Frankie Mermaid and takes off.
So he gets like 2 scenes?
Yeah. They're 2 amazing scenes.
Like there needs to be a spinoff with Frankie Mermaid.
I want like a prequel of Frankie Mermaid and how he got into the pimp life. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So he goes back to Carol's house. He's like, I killed this guy. She ends up finding out it was Frankie Mermaid, and they decide they're gonna fight crime together. He's like, but you're gonna have to help me because I don't know anything about dinosaurs. And she says, that's okay. I don't know anything about God. So she's gonna teach him about dinosaurs while he teaches her about God.
Is there like a really cool montage?
Yes! I was just about to get into that. So they're gonna teach each other this stuff. It's quiet for a moment, and you kind of get a feeling like they might kiss for a second. And then they high five, the cheesiest fucking high five you've ever seen. And then it goes into like the classic teen movie makeover montage. Like, I've got this book and we're doing this, and they're laughing and they're sharing things and dropping shit and laughing. Your basic ass teen movie montage. And it's great. We learn a little bit more about the ninjas at this point. Just that they're training. There's like a head ninja. He's got
H-E-N-I-C?
Yeah.
Head ninja in charge.
Head ninja in charge. He's got his assistant. His second in command or whatever. His character's name is legit Sam the White Ninja.
Yeah, he's a white guy. Everyone else is Asian. He's white, though.
That's not accurate either.
Oh, that's true. Pretty.
But he's extra white. Like,
his name Kip?
His real name is Jesse. Oh. So, super white. So they have their little moment, and they're going to take over things. They've got the drugs working the way they want, and they don't reveal the whole plan at this time, but you know that they've got things in the works. But that this dragon warrior is causing trouble for them. So there's that. Then we find out Father Stewart, Doug's friend, has been reaching out to people trying to get an exorcism for him.
Okay.
To rid him of this dinosaur. And the only person who can make time for them is Dave Navarro.
Is he actually in the movie?
No.
No, it looks like him. It looks like him.
Would have been dope.
It would have been so good. But no, this guy looks like Dave Navarro. But so he comes in and he's, performing some sort of seance, which I guess is their exorcism. I don't know. But we go into a flashback. The last time that Father Stewart had to talk to this guy was back in Vietnam.
Okay.
So we have a Vietnam flashback. We are again back in somebody's backyard, walking through, and they're talking about the war, and he's with his buddy Ali, and he's talking about his girl back home, and he wants to start a family with her, Adeline.
Yeah.
Adeline. And
Adeline.
he wants to start a family with Adeline, and Ollie's telling him, you start that family with Adeline, and you have sons, and you name one of those sons after me. And he's telling him all this stuff. It's so fucking cheesy, and he's, you look at him with this smile that you tell him your buddy from the war always had this smile. And then he just gets blown the fuck up, like, out of nowhere while he's giving this little speech.
War's hell,
He's devastated, and he ends up making it through the war, and they are, I don't know if they're still in Vietnam. I don't know. He is about to be reunited with Adeline, and you see her running across the field, and he's so excited, and she's running at him, and he's standing there waiting for her, and she gets about 2 feet away from him and steps on a landmine and blows to fucking shit.
And he's like covered in blood.
Like, it's such a great fucking scene. perfectly edited where there's a body and then it was like blood just splashed all over him. It was fantastic. So they tried to do the exorcism, which failed terribly. He injured Father Stewart really bad. You think he's dead at this point. So he's kind of remorseful. He takes off again. He gets attacked by ninjas. He fights them off. He makes it back to Carol's house, and he's like, he's hiding. She makes it home. And for some reason, he's sitting on the floor next to her bed, covered in newspapers.
Yeah, I have no clue why.
And she comes home, and he uncovers himself from the newspapers, and she realizes he's injured, and basically they talk for a minute, and then the Pearl Jam music video sex scene happens. That you've got boxes.
Jeremy spoken. Jeremy's
Chase said, he's like, you could take the music out of this and play Jeremy over this and it would fit. He's like,
weird.
I mean, it was like this weird sex montage.
It was so trippy, like just hands reaching across and weird lighting and like different colors, and it
was just like missing an old man with the shirt off. That was like the only thing that was missing.
I was just dying the whole time.
And it's really long too.
Yeah,
it's not just like a little. I mean,
it's not like a 30-second thing. It lasted
like 3-4 minutes.
It was
the movie. It's just montage. So funny.
So they have sex, and then they're awoken the next morning by ninjas jumping in the windows. So the ninjas have tracked them down. They found them, and somehow injured Doug, not as a dinosaur, and Carol the hooker fight off and kill 3 ninjas. One of the ninjas, luckily before they died, told us exactly where their hideout is. That's literally a line.
They literally get to their hideout and like they say the line of, "Luckily, one of your ninjas told us where it was before he died."
No, it cut away to a different. We cut away to find out Father Stewart's still alive, but he's been captured by the ninjas, and he's learning their whole plan right now. And then it cuts back, and Doug says, "Thank goodness that one ninja told us exactly where their base was before he died."
It's so good.
So they're getting prepped and ready, and he somehow found a leather jacket. I don't know, so now he's cool. But basically the ninjas, their plan is to spread Christianity across the world.
Those bastards.
And the way they're going to do this is by getting people hooked on drugs. And then they're going to take the drugs away.
Okay.
So then the drug addicts have to go to
church.
Like 12-step programs that are religion based.
There's so much money in that.
So that they become Christians.
Gotcha.
So this is their evil master plan.
So
and they
they're
have the
Chinese
best
Christian ninjas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yes. So they have the best evil laughs. As they talk about their...
No, because it changes. It's a weird thing. Like the white ninja is like, yeah, and then he like decides to try out a new one.
He'll be laughing, and then it's ha 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 ha. It's crazy. So he gets to the camp, and he is gonna fight all these guys. He's taking them out. Carol's kicking ninja ass in like some skin tight jumpsuit leotard thing or whatever, to the point that the ninjas are running to get bigger ninjas because they're so scared of the hooker. He transforms into a dinosaur. He's doing the whole thing, and then the big ninja comes out. Not the head guy. There's a larger guy comes out with a sword. He walks up to Carol. She's standing there like she's on Mortal Kombat waiting for the fight to start. And he just comes with the sword and just slashes her across the chest and she dies. So he runs over and he holds Carol and she's having this, death scene and he's upset. And meanwhile, the ninjas are across the field and some of them are tearing up and they've got like their arms around each other and they're like, oh, so sweet. You know, they're visibly shaken about Carol's death as well.
Weren't they fighting Carol?
Yep.
Yes.
They were kicking her
Yes, they were.
ass. She was kicking their asses. Okay, so she dies. He kills all the ninjas. So then the sidekick guy comes out, and we find out, another plot twist, it's Doug's brother that he forgot he had.
Oh, no.
And that's why the hit was hired on his parents, because he felt betrayed by his parents. And that's why he's been practicing the evil laugh. Because they would all laugh all the time, and they left him out of the laughs. Okay? Yep. So good. So, he says he doesn't want to use his ancestral sword to kill Doug with, so he sets it aside. And then Doug uses it to kill him. Your ancestors are my ancestors. And kills him, and then he ends up killing the master ninja or whatever. He's poisoned, his leg doesn't work, he can't transform, but his hands can still be a dinosaur. So he rips his head off, and then it's another mannequin head, but with eyebrows and stuff.
Naturally.
It looks like Ming. That's what it
But
looks
then
like.
Carol is saved. The doctor saves Carol. She's fine. She says she's fine twice. And he's like, so you're fine? And then the text comes up on the screen and says she's fine. And he gave up his priesthood, and they're going to travel the world.
I think a really good line would have been if she got cut and she's like, no, it's fine. I'd actually got like bigger boobs put in, you know. Now I'm twice as good or something like that, you know. And like, you know, she just didn't have her scar anymore. She just has like really big leg and bazongas.
Nice.
Totally. So like, I guess it ends there, or
That's, yeah.
Okay.
And they've got a sequel planned.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm really excited. I'm sorry. So, like, I wanted to cut that down shorter, but there was literally, I'm like, what do you leave out there?
so you didn't
It's
feel like
tough.
telling us the entire movie.
The entire
Yes.
movie.
It's a lot.
I couldn't not do it, though. So much of it was good.
By review, I mean I'm going to tell you scene for scene.
Scene for scene, this is the movie. Now you have to go watch it.
It's
'cause
funny, too, because,
funnier.
like, I feel like the actors are porno stars that, like, he got for this movie. Like, the way they act, and even just the way they look. Like, you could look at them, both of them, like, I bet they've done porn. Like,
Hopefully.
you can just tell.
Okay, guys. So since this ran kind of long, what I'm going to do is we're going to stop here and then do another episode that's all Lovecraft Country. Because I don't think it's fair to hold anybody hostage for like 2 hours.
Yeah, true.
So what would
My
you rate
apologies.
this movie?
I'm sorry.
That's fine. What would you rate this movie?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Mine's 3 out of 5 kangaroos.
And nice. Mine's, I believe, a 5 out of 10. But if you were, an inspiring filmmaker or you just love found footage movies, I'd say 6 or 7. Because, I mean, what they did for $12,000, I mean, it was very impressive.
It's pretty impressive. Guys, thank you so much for listening. That was our reviews of the movie challenge Rotating Chair. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter at Into Geek, on Instagram. Is it just like Into Geek? Also?
Facebook and Instagram is at Into Geek Podcast.
Gotcha. Yes.
Twitter is at Into Geek.
So thank you so much for listening. Come back next week. We'll be talking about we're supposed to be doing a seance and some ghost hunting stuff. We'll be talking about the most haunted locations in all of America. And also, I will be giving you my top 10 underrated horror list, and probably talk about my other list. Who knows? Just list, whatever.
Whatever.
So, thank you all so much for listening. Until next time.
Boy.